Dramatic pictures, as we often see, of big weather events in America. There are wildfires in California. How serious are they? Well, very seems to be the answer. 27,000 residents, that's the latest estimate, have been forced to flee their homes in the middle of the night as this very fast-moving and expanding wildfire ripped through Southern California. Several thousand homes are in a mandatory evacuation zone. That's in the cities of Ventura and Santa Paula, which is about 70 miles north of Los Angeles. Firefighters are warning the fire's moving so fast they're unable to contain it. Just before we came on air, we spoke to John Fenoglio, who had just come back from reporting in Ventura for KTLA.
What I found so surprising about this wildfire was the extent of the devastation. This is a wildfire that has burned more than 50,000 acres in less than 24 hours. Fire officials tell us it scorched 150 homes, completely destroyed 150 homes. But from being on the ground, I can tell you that that number is certainly going to rise. We saw entire neighborhood blocks that were obliterated. It looked like a war zone, and I know that might sound sensational, but I've never seen anything like this up close. I've seen wildfires, but I've not seen anything like this, and it was truly surprising. 27,000 people forced to flee their homes. All of this wildfire weather is compounded by incredibly strong winds. They're called Santa Ana winds, and they can blow at 20, 30, 40 miles per hour, and it really gets these flames going. It carries embers miles away and sets these homes on fire, and it was just stunning to see the level of devastation.
Nearly 30,000 people moved. Did you get a chance to talk to any people? What were they saying?
It's funny what you see when people are fleeing fire. Some folks are just grabbing what they can, personal items, photo albums, things like that. Other people are terrified. Of the folks that we saw, they were returning to check on whether their house had burned to the ground or was still standing. And we ran into both groups. We saw some folks who were thrilled that their house had survived this devastating wildfire, and we saw other folks who were sifting through charred remains, basically their personal belongings, possessions, things that they could retrieve from piles of rubble after their homes had burned down. And that was pretty sad.
What kind of help are they getting from the authorities? What advice are they being given as well?
Well, Mother Nature is still in charge and calling the shots out here in Ventura, but I can tell you that our state fire agency, known as CAL FIRE, along with county officials as well as municipal and federal fire support, are all on top of this fire. By last check, there was over 1,000 firefighters on the ground and in the air using helicopters and airplanes to drop water and fire retardant on this fire. But again, it's the Santa Ana winds, these incredibly strong winds that continue to hamper the firefight. When they blow too hard, aircraft can't be in the air overhead, and that just makes putting the fire out all the more difficult.
But we're in December. I mean, I'd expect sort of raging fires in the dryness of the summer. Is this fire season in any sense?
Well, fire season used to be reserved for the hottest dry months of the year. Now, we know that from our state fire agency, CAL FIRE, but now fire season is year-round, and fire officials tell us that can be attributed to climate change. California has undergone an extreme drought for the last 4 to 5 years. There's also been a change in vegetation because of that, which makes the landscape basically more susceptible to burning.
So this is just this is going to be the new normal, you think?
Fire officials tell us that fire season year-round in California is the new normal, and that this is just a way of life moving forward here in California.
Just back from Ventura, looking at those wildfires and speaking to some of the people who've had to escape, KTLA's John Fenoglio.